Yes, sir, we can hear you. We can start now. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I think you need to make me co-host so that I can share my screen.
Okay, sir.
All right. Good evening, everyone, wherever you may be joining from. It's a delight to be here with you tonight, and I'm super excited to share a few things with you tonight. It's a pleasure. Feel free to interrupt me at any time you feel that you can't hear me or you need me to go over something. I don't take offense in being interrupted when I talk. Moreover, it's not a webinar, so I'll actually need your energy. I'll need your participation. And over the course of the slides, I would also like you to put in a chat box some aha moments that tickles a fancy with you. Can you see my screen now? I'm sharing my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, fantastic. So please, once again, feel free to reach out, interrupt me at any point in time, put your question in the chat box, and I won't take much of your time. I will just, hit it back to back, and I would, give an ample time for question and answers. I would be delighted to take as many questions as possible, and of course, as time can allow. And so let's just get started. So, like my wonderful friend has introduced me, my name is Segun Adelebigbe. I am a person of many things, but I build systems that run all of those things for me. And I am delighted to be here with you. And again and again, she mentioned Club EFI, so she has given a high level of what we do, but that's not the crux of the matter today. We are talking about you as a person, a better version of yourself and a richer version of yourself. So tonight I've come up with a 5-point agenda. We'll give you an introduction of what this is all about. I will tell you what you should do to make money. I will tell you tools that you have to make money. And I'll tell you how to avoid money mismanagement. And of course, I'll take your questions. All right, so let's move ahead. First things first, it all begins in the mind. It all begins in the mind. Just a minute. Someone saw my WhatsApp status and she was saying, please, can I join this session? So I just wanted to be sure that she's actually also on the call with us. Let me just quickly check that because I think Betty, is Betty here? Betty. Is she here? Okay, she's not here. Maybe she'll join later. All right, so it all starts from the mind. Let me go back. I've already jumped 2 slides. So it all begins from the mind. What you see in your life is a function of what you think in your mind. I have come to a conclusion that what you do not see in this world is more powerful than what you can see in this world. What is under creates what is above the ground. You can ask the the farmers. If you have an error on a piece of paper that you've just printed, for you to correct that error, you need to go back to the computer. Hello? Sorry, can you please mute that person? Dorcas, can you mute the person, please?
No, you are the host, so you are the one that can mute the person.
Oh, okay. So where is this fellow? Okay, I think he's muted himself. Okay. So what is under the ground creates what is above the ground. What is internal creates what is external. Your mind is internal. Everything you will see in your life as a result of the money that you make is a function of the creative power of your mind. If you can see it in your mind, you can see it in your hands. If you cannot see it in your mind, you cannot see it in your hands. If you say you can do it, or you say you cannot do it, you are correct. You are only expressing what is in your mind. Good. So having said that, I would like you to understand that the mind has no limitation. The power of the mind is so strong that anything you think you can achieve, anything you think you can conceive, it is something you can express in your life. With the power of the mind, man has been able to put a heavy metal in the sky. In the past 1 month, I've been flying various countries, and it amazes me each time I jet into the sky and I land. I keep asking myself, how is this heavy metal able to be sustained in the air for hours? So what you have at the back of your mind is what your life will display. Air transportation has actually facilitated integration into global economy and provided vital connectivity in national, regional, and international scale. With the power of the mind, man has been able to explore the deep oceans. With the power of the mind, man has been able to create the railway and the trains, moving tons and billions of kilograms of goods and even people from point A to point B, from country to country, from continent to continent. By the power of the mind, man has been able to explore the outer space. Now, by scientific research, we understand how big this earth is, right? And despite the fact that this earth is very big, you understand that we have just 9 planets in our own universe, and there is billions of that in the galaxies. Man has not even been able to research other places. By the power of the mind, man has been able to create the medicine or gotten breakthrough in medical field. Treatments of headaches, bacterial diseases, viral diseases, treatment of cancer, management of cancer, HIV, and all of those things that hitherto would have killed our loved ones. By the power of the mind, man has been able to research medically to provide results that sustains us. By the power of the mind, man has created globalization and world economy, has improved. Now you can be in Japan, you can be in Kenya, you can be in US, and your business can be all over the world. By the power of the mind, the internet has come to stay. Sometimes ago, I think about 4 or 5 months ago, WhatsApp shut down, and it looked like our life came to stand still. That's to tell you how intertwined internet has been. Why am I telling you all of this? I'm telling you the power of the mind. And when God created every one of us, he gave us that brain. Of course, psychologically called the brain, but physiologically called the brain, but psychologically called the mind. And WhatsApp is just one application out of the billions or millions of applications on Play Store and Apple Store. The power of the mind has improved connectivity. So imagine that this is what the mind has done. Now tell me, why do you think making money is a problem that the mind cannot conquer? Going forward, the mind has also brought about mechanized agriculture. The mind also has done a lot around wealth generation. So what is wealth, or what does being rich mean? Being rich simply means you are in a state of your personal monetary affairs. So you need to understand that making money is a personal decision. Making money is a personal responsibility. See, you can blame the government, you can blame your parents, you can blame the school, you can blame your upbringing, you can blame the community you were born from, you can blame everybody. But until you hold yourself responsible, you are not going to make money. It is the state of one's personal monetary affairs. It is personal. I get a lot of people tell me, oh, Segun, I have this amount. Tell me what to do with it. And I tell them, I cannot tell you. Because what if I am not there? What if I'm not trusted? What if I say, okay, bring the money and then I will help you invest it, and I run away with your money? What does being rich mean? It means having a steady flow of income. What does being rich mean? It means having rare changes in your expenses. What does being rich mean? It means the ratio of income to non-discretionary expenses. What are non-discretionary expenses? Those expenses that you cannot do without. Food, shelter, clothing. What does being rich mean? It means having a growing cash balance. At the end of this month, you have this amount. At the end of next month, you have the amount plus X. What does being rich means? It means your fire number is very low. You know, I used to tell my spouse, I intend to retire at the age of 40. And I will only work because I want to work, not because I need to work. And if I have that goal, the journey must begin like yesterday. What does being rich mean? It means your investment portfolio is strong in returns, that it is higher than the inflation and currency devaluation. Sorry, I can hear another background noise. I think I'll need to mute that person. I need to mute you. Just okay, that person is muted. And the other person is also muted. Okay, fantastic. All right, now let's continue. So this is what being rich simply means. Moving ahead, you know, I like what I have on the screen now, and I'm going to tell you after I tell you the 6 things. Now, how does having a good financial wealth, how does richer you mean? What does it mean? It simply means wealth will determine the kind of lifestyle you will live. It determines the kind of education you will get. It determines the kind and quality of food that you will eat. It will determine the quality of accommodation and how serene your environment or your community will be. It will also determine the kind of health care you will get. And you know what? Even the clothes you wear, the richer you will determine the kind and quality of clothes that you can wear. And if you can afford it, the kind of holiday you can go on. At this point, I would like to first ask, do we have any questions, or can you just put something in the chat box, what you feel has struck, you know, a chord in you? I would like to hear from you at this point before I proceed. What do you think has, you know, struck a chord from you? I would like to hear from you guys, please. I like that energy. I like that energy. Put in the chat box what has just hit target with you now. Put in the chat box. I'd like to hear from you. Waiting. Wealth is one's personal responsibility. Thank you, Dorcas. Okay, I need 2 more people. 2 more people. 2 more people. 2 more people. I'd like to hear from you. 2 more people. What's your aha moment? Wealth creation starts in the mind. Perfect. Thank you. One more person. What you don't see is greater than what you see. The mind is a starting point. Thank you very much, Stella. Now let's move ahead because of our time. You know, I promise that I'm going to take questions. State of one's personal monetary affairs. Thank you very much. So, like I said, what is seen is inferior to what is unseen. You want to change the fruits, you got to change the roots. You want to change what you see, you got to change how you think. So, moving ahead, you need to develop the mind such that if I give you ₦1 million today, you don't faint. And you know what? The real problem can actually not be changed in the physical. It can only be changed in the internal, the mind. Moving ahead. How do you feed the mind to determine the transformation the mind needs to go through. Number one, what you see and what you watch. I can share my screen on my phone. All the YouTube subscriptions I have are all money related. Do I catch fun once in a while? Yes. But all my subscription, you can go and check Club EFI social media handle. All the people we are following on our social media handles are people who talk about wealth. I want to check my Instagram, I want to check my Facebook, I want to check my Twitter at any time of the day, and I want to see something that keeps encouraging me. Something that keeps telling me, yes, I can make it. What you also hear, what you taste, what you feel or touch, and what you think. You know, I always tell people, don't always say, I cannot afford it, because the moment you say that, you shut down the possibility and the creative power of the brain. But rather ask yourself, how can I afford it? Remember, affordability. See, you can afford anything in this world if they can make the payment very flexible and the interest rate very low. So there is nothing on earth that you cannot afford. So if you are going to be a richer person, we are talking about the richer you, if you are going to move to the next level when it comes to wealth, these things on the screen are things you need to pay attention to, because those are the entrances to your mind. Moving ahead, because of our time, I said, so people may be asking, okay, so what should I do now? The first thing is for you to produce value. You do not lack money. You only lack value that you have not produced. How do you understand production of value? Production of value simply is you presenting to people the things that can take away their pains or that can give them their gains. Take away their pains or give them gains. Poverty is the absence of self-production. What you need to be sufficient, God has given it to you. Sorry, someone's mic is unmuted. I need to mute you again. I think that's Ephraim. All right. What you need to be sufficient is within you. God has not made your life or the fulfillment of your destiny. God has not put it in the hands of your employer. God has not put the fulfillment of your financial destiny in the hands of a job. God has not put it in the hands of Canada, because everybody is running to Canada. If you don't have a solid financial intelligence, wherever you are in this world, you will still live from hand to mouth. You are not at the mercy of people, mercy of places, or at the mercy of the government for you to be wealthy. Hear me and hear me clearly. God has not created you, a whole human being, and put your financial destiny in places or in the hands of people or in the hands of the government or in the hands of your spouse or in the hands of your parents, for those that are still depending on their parents, or in the hands of your children. You are too important to God for you to be at the mercy of other things. Everything you need to succeed in this life, wherever you may be on earth, God has given it to you. You need to find it. So poverty is the absence of self-production. Be you an employee or an employer of labor. Again and again, I said, you do not lack wealth or money. You simply lack the value that you produce or the number of people that knows what you produce. And they can pay you in order to get a gain or to lose a pain. Sorry, someone's microphone is... Can you guys please mute? I'm getting distracted. Ephraim, or sorry, not Ephraim. Who is this? Someone is on... Okay, thank you very much.
Good person. Did you hear our voice now?
Yes, please. No, enough. Please, you're on. You need to. Okay, good. I've muted you. So poverty is the absence of self-production. Let's go ahead because of time. Number two, poverty is a lack of creativity, not the lack of resources. What any government needs to succeed, the African countries, Kenya, Zambia, Gambia, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Nigeria, Ethiopia, South Africa, it is not in the IMF loans. Go and do the research. The African continent is the wealthiest. What does UK have apart from education and football? What does India have apart from software? What does Japan have apart from, technology? We have human capital resources and natural resources. Our problem is mismanagement. Please tell me what Dubai has. So poverty is not the lack of is a lack of creativity, not the lack of resources. What you need to be sufficient or self-sufficient is within you. Remember what I said a few seconds ago. Your destiny, your financial destiny is not in the hands of any country. It is not in the hands of any government. It is not in the hands of your sibling or your uncle or your aunt or your children or your parents or even in your education. It is within you. Next thing, money flows in the direction of value. So the first thing is you must produce value. Does it take away someone's pain or does it give someone a gain? That is how you determine the value. Number two, because of our time, multiply. There is no use of being an unknown expert. You are an expert, yes, we know, but there is no use of being an unknown expert. The value you produce, how many people know it? When you produce value, how many people are willing to reward you? Please, mention any musician in the world. They may not have the best voices. They may not even have the best characters. They may not have the best personalities, but they are known. The phones you are using, iPhone, Apple phone, whatever phones, Infinix, Samsung, these are phones that have been produced by a particular company, but the multiplier effect is global. That is why people even will queue to go and buy an iPhone 13 or iPhone 14 Pro Max. I don't think 14 version is out, but I think 13 version is out. But everybody in the whole world is buying iPhone. Then you ask yourself, who are the owners of iPhone? The salt you use in cooking in your house, who produced it? The multiplier effect of the value that you have is what will determine how richer you can be. If all the people that know what you render is just your friends and family, you've not started. Either as a business person or as a career person. Why do organizations poach other employees? Simply because they know the value this employee will bring to the table. So they poach and they pay a higher amount. The more people know about that employee, the more job offers he or she is going to get. And if you are in the production of your own goods, maybe as an entrepreneur, the question is how many people know what you do? You have a budget on payroll. Do you have a budget on marketing? Those are two key things, like I shared in the agenda, that you need to do to make money. The multiplier effect is what you are seeing on my screen now. It took 68 years for airline players, the aeroplanes, to have their first 50 million users. It took 4 years for Facebook to have 50 million users. Look at Pokemon Go, a game on the phone, just 19 days to hit 50 million users. There is the power of multiplication. Do you have any questions at this point before I move ahead? You can please feel free to ask me questions. Coca-Cola, as we know, is headquarters in US, Atlanta, Georgia. But every day, Coca-Cola sells millions of bottles. So even if you're not the owner of Coca-Cola or you're not the owner of your own particular business, this is not a talk for just entrepreneurs. It's a talk for everyone who wants to be the richer you. What is the multiplier effect of the value you produce? Can you give a speech and people can fall in line? Can you make a request from one person and millions of people are ready to serve that request? Are you selling an AirPod and millions of people know that you sell that AirPod? It is good. I know you are good at what you do, but the question is, what is the multiplier effect? One of our biggest budgets in one of my businesses is marketing. Marketing. We must let people know what we do. We must let people know what we do. We must let people know what we do. So as an employee, how many people have you networked on LinkedIn to let them know what you do because you're looking for a bigger job, a bigger pay package, you want to work for a multinational and all of those things? How many people know you on LinkedIn? When last did you post on LinkedIn? You are a business person. Do you have a, when last did you do a sponsored post on Instagram? When last did you do a sponsored post on Facebook? When last did you upload WhatsApp, your service or product on your WhatsApp status? So the multiplier effect is very key to the production of your value. Now, what are the tools? I'm going to give you 2 out of 5. The remaining 3, I don't think time will allow us to share because they are going to take way more time. At this point, I'd like to hear from you. What has been your aha moments? I just need 1 or 2 comments. Let me be sure you guys are with me. What's your aha moments in the past few slides I've shared with you? What are your aha moments, please? Just 1 or 2 persons. Let me just be sure you're with me. I like to have your energy. I'd like to have your energy. What are your aha moments? The power of the multiplier effect. Thank you very much. 1 more person, 1 more person. What are your aha moments? What are your aha moments? I would like to hear 1 more person or read from 1 more person what your aha moment is. You need to create value, be loud about what you do. Yes, please be very loud about it and don't be apologetic about it. Don't be apologetic about it. Now, what are the tools? You know, I said I'm going to share with you 2 tools. Number 1 is education. Now, I know people are saying, yes, have a business, do this, but hello, if you are not literate, you are going to limit yourself in life. Education is key, though it does not end in the 4 walls of the classrooms, but employers would rather go for someone who has a degree than someone who does not have a degree. Please don't let all the motivational speakers tell you, oh, Bill Gates dropped out from school. He didn't drop out of school because he was poor. He dropped out of school because he wanted to pursue his dream and he was dead sure of Microsoft. His father was very wealthy. You make noise about Elon Musk. Elon Musk's parents are not purely Africans and they were wealthy. In fact, his mom actually sat on the board of a multinational. So don't let people tell you, oh, forget about school, go and hustle on the street. People are getting fantastic jobs because they have a first degree. In fact, employers have even stepped up the requirements now and say you must have a master's degree. On top of your master's degree, they can even tell you you need to have some certifications. Please go for your certifications. Go for that master's degree. Go for that master's in business administration. Go for that undergraduate degree. Make sure you complete your first level first certificate education. Do not rubbish education. Because the first thing an employer will the first contact an employer will have with you is your CV. And based on your CV, they will determine if they will invite you for an interview or not. I know a lot of friends working in multinationals, having the best accommodation. I mean, their children are being fully funded, and they are paid, and they're even working from home, and they are living their best of life. You don't have to be an entrepreneur. There are poor CEOs. So go for that education. If you have a solid education, a first class, a second class upper division, or at least you have a second class lower division. Now, this does not mean those that have third class or pass will not make it in life. I'm just saying employers have actually stepped up the game. You have a first degree, you've scaled the first level of interview before they even listen to you. Please go for that certification. It could be a 6-month certificate, it could be a 1-year certificate. Please go for that education. People will pay you for what you know, and you will pay people for what they know that you do not know. The second thing I would like to share with you about the tools that God has given to you to make money is your skills. Skills. Not only will people pay you for what you know, people will also pay you for what you can do. And for what you cannot do, you will pay people. Now, let's make it very realistic or very practical. I go to the barber's shop because I need to have a haircut. If I can give myself a clean, nice haircut, I won't go to the barber's shop any longer. I have a fashion designer because I need to pay him to sew my clothes for me. If I can sew my clothes myself, I won't go to the fashion designer. I go to the automobile mechanic to service my car. If I can service my car myself, or like I said earlier, removing a pain, even if I can service it myself, but I don't want to undergo that pain, I will pay him to do it. What skill set do you have? What can you naturally do that others cannot, or that you can do better than others? People will pay you for your skill sets. You know, there's a story I shared with a church sometimes ago that, you know, there was a big company and they had their machine was down, and they called a guy to come and fix their machine for them. And the guy came and asked, give me a mallet or something, and they gave it to him. And then he went to a particular part of that machine and he hit it. And they asked him for his bill, and he wrote $100. And they asked him, what do you mean? Why should we pay you $100 for just hitting that portion of the machine? And the machine started working. He now said, okay, no problem. Let me give you the analysis. $1 for hitting it, $99 for knowing where to hit. You need to be not only educated, you also need to have the skills. Please do not downplay skills. In the 21st century, there are sought after skills. Sweat it out, but that skills will remain with you for life. Lastly, join a community that supports you. You cannot want to be a doctor and go sit down in the lecture theater of accountants, because your conversation will be at variance to what is going on in their classroom. You need to surround yourself with people of like minds, people who have the same focus, the same vision as you, people who are going to be bouncing off ideas from you, people who are going to be challenging you to become a better and a richer you. You don't want to be in a community where you are thinking about how you can have the latest Rolls Royce and somebody is thinking about how to afford a bicycle. That's not going to be challenging. If you are a friend of 5 people and you are the wealthiest amongst them, you need to change. You are not a tree. You can move. My friends and those that I communicate with the most are those who are way wealthier than I am. I used to tell my wife, she knows a very close friend of mine, very, very close. just about 3-4 years or maybe 5 years older than I am. That guy challenges me at every point in time. Now, if I will crave your indulgence, I don't like to mention this. You know, I brought in my own SUV from the US and I snapped the picture and I sent it to him and I started bragging, of course, playfully. And you know what the guy sent to me? He sent me the version 2022 model, an SUV, and said, Segun, be inspired. I felt so embarrassed, though we was just, you know, we're just joking. So what am I saying? You need to be in a community of people who challenge you to be better. All right. How do people mismanage their money? This is my last slide before I take your questions. Number one, people do not run on budgets. Now, I'm not saying don't buy that shawarma. I'm not saying don't buy that suya. I'm not saying don't buy that pizza. Those are your guilty cravings. Those are the things that makes life and makes you enjoy. I just told you in the past 1 month, I've been flying various countries. I've been going partly on holiday and also on business trips. Please have a budget for everything that you do. You want to go on holiday in Dubai, Zanzibar, Seychelles, have a budget. Have a miscellaneous budget. Budget helps you determine where your money should go rather than wondering where your money went to. You know, I don't know if someone, you know, can bear me witness on this call. Sometimes you just get your pay, maybe as an employee, or you just hit a contract as a business person, and all of a sudden, 2-3 weeks down the line, you are wondering, where did this money go to? But in your heart of hearts, you know you didn't spend it anyhow. You know you didn't spend it lavishly. What budget does for you is to say, this is where my money goes to. And I tell people, you must have a budget for investment. Now, what to invest in is a different ballgame. Either investing in yourself, investing in a certificate, buying properties, buying stocks, going into real estate, going into agriculture, going into importation and exportation, buying shares of a person's business. See, all of those things is a different ballgame. But on a monthly basis, no matter how little, we are after the habits, not necessarily after the figure or amount. On a monthly basis, you must allocate an amount that should go into investments. You must run on budgets. Of course, when you start running on budgets, you may be feeling so uncomfortable. Yes, it is needed. You may be feeling, but it's my money. Let me blow it how I like. It's okay. But really, you need to run on budgets. When you do this for about a quarter or half a year, it will become a habit and a part of you. When you are earning, say, $100,000 a year, by the time you are earning $250,000, $300,000, $500,000 a year, it will be easier to maintain that habit you have built. But when you say, but I'm not earning enough, nobody really earns enough. Nobody. That's the truth. Man's needs are insatiable. They've made billions of naira, billions of dollars, billions of yen, billions of cedis, billions of whatever. They will still aspire to make more and more money. So nobody will tell you, okay, my bank account is full. Even your banks will not tell you your account is full. It can't receive any money any longer. Number two, watch out for Ponzi schemes. Watch out for Ponzi schemes. Ponzi schemes are not investments. They paid my brother 2 days ago. My sister just cashed out. Hello. Ponzi schemes work until they will not work. Number three, spending triggers. You need to watch out for your spending triggers. There are some things that trigger you to spend. More of this is on Club BFI, but that's not the point now. You need to watch your spending triggers. Someone's wedding, shut down the whole town, painted the whole streets red. Now you want to get married, you need to shut down the same town. It's a spending trigger. That's peer pressure. Even though you think peer pressure is for children. It's holiday. We need to go on holiday. Meanwhile, you don't have a budget for that holiday. Spending trigger. I just feel like, spending trigger. I'm bored. You pick up your phone and the next thing, you are going to one online mall, maybe eBay or Jumia or Konga, and you're just shopping and shopping and shopping, and they've made it so easy that you can even pay on delivery. spending trigger. There are about 8, 9 spending triggers, but I'm not going to keep showing that. Lastly, bad debt. Debt is not a bad thing, but there is something called bad debt. There is something also called good debt. Know when to take money on loan to do something. Okay, thank you very much. Dorcas, I think I've done the assignment that you gave to me. Are there questions now? I'd like to take your questions because of our time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Segun. This is awesome. This is like mind-blowing. Thank you so much for sharing. So please, if you have questions, you can just unmute your mic and ask your questions, or you can do well to drop your question on the chat box, then we read it out. Thank you so much, Mr. Segun, for sharing. Please help me celebrate my mentor, my super amazing speaker for this evening. Please help me celebrate him. Thank you for doing justice to the richer you. Thank you so much. So please, we are open for questions. We have 10 more minutes to take your questions. If you have questions, you can do well to unmute your mic, or you drop your questions on the chat box. Thank you. We are waiting. Oh, I'm waiting to read your questions. Wow. My data is full. Thank you, sir, for sharing.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, Nicola said, interesting presentation. Thank you, sir, for sharing. Thank you, Nicholas, too. Matilda is also appreciating you. Thank you for sharing. Please, if you have questions, you can do well to unmute your mic and ask your question. From Temitope Falade, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Please, so just love on our speaker this evening. Just send in your appreciation. We need to read it. He needs to hear it. He did a great job. He did a fantastic job this evening. So we need to celebrate our speaker this evening as we await your questions for this evening. So I have a question, sir. How can one manage their spending triggers? Now, how can one manage their spending triggers? Because you just listed some of the spending triggers. Okay, we have a question from Mr. Francis Oyewole. So I'm going to be reading that question. Regarding budgeting, what is the best way to separate personal budget from business or investment budget? So I think that will be question number 2. Question number 1, how best can one manage their spending triggers? Because some of us, we are guilty. So how can we manage our spending triggers? And the second question, how best can we separate personal budgeting from business or investment budgeting? So over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Very brilliant questions there. How can you manage your spending trigger? See, the truth is we are all human beings, and you don't need to be hard on yourself. I appreciate that sometimes you can go outside your budget occasionally because of those triggers. Now, have it at the back of your mind. Unless it is a matter of life and death, I can never go outside my budget. Unless it is a matter of life and death, I cannot go outside my budget. Now, how do I manage my spending trigger? I have a miscellaneous budget. Those things that I never planned to spend on in the course of the month, but they just crop up. Take, for example, you are driving, you have a flat tire.
Okay.
Or you are going on the way and your shoe gave way. These are costs that you will incur. They are urgent, they are important. You need to address them immediately. Some could be those guilty pleasures. Some could be those cravings that you have. Oh, it's been a while I went to the beach, I want to go. It's been a while I went to the movies, I want to go. I understand. Those are the things that makes life life. No arguments about it. You are not a robot. I understand and appreciate it, but you need to have a miscellaneous budget for it, so that you can withdraw from that miscellaneous budget to address those cravings or those triggers. With discipline, you can stick to it. But without discipline, even if you have miscellaneous budget, you will go way above it.
Yeah.
So you need to be disciplined to stick to it. It is not funny. The process is not cool, but your future self will thank you. So please have a budget for it. Second question, regarding budgeting, what is the best way to separate personal from business, personal budget from investment budget? Thank you very much for that question. Very fantastic question. Now, your business is an entity of itself.
Okay.
Yes, maybe when you start your business as a hustler, it's okay. Or a hobbyist. Who is a hobbyist? A hobbyist is someone who does some things as hobby and gets paid for it. Oh, I just like to take people's photographs. And you can just pay me for it. Maybe you call me to come and cover your child's naming ceremony or your birthday or your housewarming. Fine. And you just say, okay, Shegun, just take this one just to encourage you, you know. That's a hobbyist. Or are you doing a side hustle? You are not taking it as hobby. You are really doing the hustle because you want to make money from it, but it is not structured. Yes, you can start from there. And there may be a mix of your personal money and business money. Because at the beginning, you are the 100% stakeholder of that business, or rather shareholder of that business.
Yeah.
But when you move from a hobbyist, a paid hobby, or a side hustle to a proper business where it is registered, and then you can even go for funding, you can apply for loans, you can pay your taxes, you can do a payroll, and all of those things registered, structured, then business money has to be business money run by an accountant. Maybe on service basis, because maybe you cannot afford putting the accountant on a payroll.
Okay.
At least you should separate your personal income from your business income. If you are the owner of the business, you must be a salary earner of that business as well. Don't mix it up, or else you will think you are making so much money in your business, meanwhile you are not. Or you may think you are not making enough, meanwhile you are. So, as I can understand that this question may be coming from the angle where maybe, just maybe, I stand to be corrected, it's still like a hustle. You are still putting your money into the business, are still putting your money in the business. In that scenario, you need to have a fixed amount, a minimum fixed amount. If it is $20 on a monthly basis, fine. If it is $50 on a monthly basis, fine. We are after the consistency, not necessarily after the figure. Don't try to impress us or impress yourself by saying, oh, I'm going to put $1,000. No. Start with $20 on a monthly basis from that business, allocate it to investments. And if you are paying yourself, the same thing should go for it. But as much as possible, business money is business money. Personal money is personal money. I hope I've answered your question.
And Mr. Francis Oyewole, hope that is justice to your question. Thank you. I think Amala has a question, but I can't see the question. So please, can you unmute the mic and ask your question directly, Amala? Amala, can you unmute your mic and ask Mr. Shegun your question directly?
Is she on the call? I don't think she's on the call.
Okay, she's, oh.
Yeah, I saw she raised her hand before, but I think.
Oh, okay, no problem. How do we make this money? Okay, the question is, how do we make this money?
I just shared 2 points and I also gave you 3 tools. Maybe I'm sure this session is recorded and I'm sure the conveners should be able to share this recording with you. I already shared 2 points and I gave you 3 tools as well. Maybe
okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Segun. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to have you on this call this evening. So this recording is going to be on our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel at DT Think Tank, so you can always watch the replay. I will encourage everyone as much as possible to get to watch the replay. It will do you a lot of good. Just go over it again. It will be awesome. And you can follow us on Instagram at DT Think Tank and cut across our social media and do. So we have our youth series every month. Next month, we have a super package ready for next month. And our speaker is already geared up to come and deliver. So to keep you updated, for you not to miss out on that, I will encourage you to follow us on our social media and do at DT Think Tank. I am Elisha Dorcas. DT Think Tank is co-founded by Elisha Dorcas and my sister and my friend Temitope Falade. So I'm going to give Tope just a few minutes to say a word to us as we wrap up this section. It has been a wonderful session, and thank you for joining us this evening. I'm your anchor for tonight, Elisha Dorcas. So Temitope Falade, please over to you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, speaker. And we hope to see you at our next session. Thank you.
Thank you. If you have questions,
very much, everyone.
Yes, you can follow Mr. Segun on Instagram at Segun Aderibe. Please, let me just allow you share your social media and do yourself.
Yeah, just Segun.a.aderibe. It's already on the chat box.
Okay, please, you can follow him and you can always reach out to him to ask more questions. And you can also follow Club EFI to get more updates and very insightful information as regards to entrepreneurship, financial literacy, and also investment opportunities. Thank you once again for joining us. So we have come to the end of the Richer You webinar for the month of May. Do have a wonderful evening. God bless you.
Bye.
Bye.